Welcome once again to RealTalkTwinCities.com. I'm Eric Perius along with
Cheryl Kempenek, Coldwell Burnet.
and
Donna Quanrud with Condo Burnet.
I'm Eric, the lone guy with Bell Mortgage. You're going to want to stick around today. We have a lot of interesting news that will affect you, including news on rates, which keep dropping. I'll go into the details and get specific with that. A new 3% down program that's available, tearing down buildings on the riverfront in St. Paul, new condos in the North Loop, right, Cheryl?
That's right.
Market stats from Donna. More news from the Fed and what that may mean for rates, and there's even more tear-down drama going on in Edina. And last but not least, we've got Sandy Schwartz from sashomestaging.com. She's here with tips and more on how to sell your home, the importance of staging. So let's start off with rates, since I'm all fired up about that.
You should be.
Surprisingly, we were not anticipating that mortgage rates would be returning to recent lows. They're the lowest they've been in about a year and a half, and part of it is due to a lackluster global economy and the U.S. being seen as still a safe haven. So some news I was reading yesterday saying that mortgage rates are being dragged kicking and screaming into lower territory. Right now, the 30-year fixed on a national average, according to Mortgage News Daily, is at 3.87. 15-year is at 3.13. And FHA, the 30-year fixed, is at 3.35.
Amazing.
Yeah.
It is time to get off the fence. If you have been thinking about buying a home or refinancing your home, it is time to get in touch with us now at RealTalkTwinCities.com.
That's right. Or a mortgage checkup takes a few minutes, like I've preached almost for weekly. Takes a few minutes to find out if you can take advantage of the market, improve your situation, or you're right where you should be. Get a mortgage checkup. You can reach out to me at RealTalkTwinCities.com or give me a call, 952-905-5757. Jumbo rates are also low for those shopping for, the higher bracket market is still strong. We've talked about that, right, Cheryl?
Incredibly strong. And in the news, we'll be talking about teardowns and expensive homes going up. So a lot of action in the jumbo market.
And surprisingly, jumbo rates are even lower than conventional. Right now, the national average for a jumbo, and that's defined as a loan with a balance over $417,000, is 3.71.
Now, why would that be? I mean, do they think that they are more solid buyers, or what's the reason for that?
Exactly. They're the clients banks want to have.
Wow.
So they're willing to pay some extra or make less, either way you look at it.
No wonder that market is moving so well.
Right.
That's exciting news.
Right. So what's going on with the North Loop with condos now? I know you guys mentioned that.
Yeah, well, the North Loop, located right downtown, just a couple blocks off the river. There has been an approval for a building tear down and a parking lot, and there's going to be a new condo building going up. So that's exciting news. We see so many apartment buildings going up all over the Twin Cities.
And no condos.
Very few condos.
Right.
So this one should be available by the end of 2016 if everything goes according to plan. And they are planning to put up an 8-story complex with 30 units, all of them corner units with great outdoor space. So buyers are going to love that. No word on pricing yet. Right now, the median price point in the North Loop area is about $289,000. I would imagine these are going to be above that.
And Cheryl, when was the last condo project that you know of? It seems to me 2008. We haven't seen any new buildings since.
There's been a couple scattered throughout the Twin Cities over the past year or so, but just nothing of significance.
One developer, I think, had 2-unit condo buildings downtown, self-funded, but most of that money's been going towards apartment construction.
Right.
So that's why we haven't seen too much of that.
Exactly.
So the fact that developers are seeing fit to get back in the condo market bodes well for the local economy.
Absolutely. And once we get a couple of these going, I anticipate we're going to see more and more. They put up so many apartment buildings, and there is a need for more rentals because there are so many millennials that aren't buying yet, driving up the need for those rentals. But they're speculating that's going to change, and with the rates being low, it's a good time to get out there and start looking for a condo.
It's true. You mentioned get off the fence, and what we're talking about specifically there is the cost of waiting, and the cost of waiting could, in real terms, for example, if you wait 6 months or a year and rates are half a point higher, your buying power is about $30,000 less. In other words, for the same payment, you can buy $30,000 more house right now than you could in the future at a half a point higher rate. Not to mention that right now prices are relatively reasonable, aren't they?
The prices really are, and Donna's going to go into that. One thing that I read too was that rates are at historic lows right now, but they're projecting them to go back up to about 6% by 2017. Have you
Yes.
heard that?
I did, and the last Fed meeting, I forgot, I think it was the New York Fed chair said that their outlook for rates, meaning the prime rate, which has been 3.25 for quite a while, is steady until mid-2015. So that, the first time, well, they said they would normalize markets, meaning that, they would kind of take their foot off the gas pedal of super low rates at that point. So yeah, starting mid next year, at least that's what the feds are saying.
Right, and as the economy gets stronger,
Right.
they'll start to go up.
And so, but the market now currently is where, Donna?
Well, a couple of takeaways for buyers, they're facing higher prices than they did last year. Medium list price was $219.9, and that's up about 5% from last year. But they've got those great lower interest rates to offset some of that rising price and more houses to choose from.
That's right.
Where the sellers, they're getting a higher sales price than they would have last year, but they're competing with a little bit more inventory because our inventory is coming up a little bit. So we had a very cold November, so our numbers were skewed a little bit in the downward trend, but pending sales were down almost 7.5%, but our closed sales were better, up 17%. So
Oh no, that's down 17%.
oh, sorry, down. Yeah, you're
closed
right.
sales were down
Down
17%.
Which was, I think a lot of that had to do with weather. It was so bitterly cold in November, and that really affected people getting out there and wanting to shop. But all in all, I think the market's strong with the interest rates staying low, inventory coming up, and we're going to see that trend continue as we start to move back into a spring market after the first of the year. So I think things are looking positive.
Yeah, and overall for the year, even though November, the median sale price was down to $219.9, year to date, it's still at $234.9, so we're
Right.
up 6.8% for the
Right.
year. So, sellers have got to be feeling confident with that. Foreclosures are still way down. The investors are not a big part of the market. We're not seeing a lot of flipping. So it's really our traditional home sales that we have going on.
Absolutely.
But it is definitely looking like a buyer's market, and with those low interest rates, we hope that you get in touch with us. You can call 612-735-0553. That's 612-735-0553. Or you can visit realtalktwincities.com. Hey, one more thing I want to mention. Do you know who's moving?
No,
We are.
we're moving.
In January, we are moving from Sunday nights at 6 to Saturdays at 4. Still here on AM 1280, The Patriot.
Perfect. So
Yeah.
we'll be able to reach out to more listeners.
Absolutely. Looking forward to that.
Well, all right.
Wow.
Okay, so we do have an update. You may remember us talking about 1721 Princeton Avenue in St. Paul. This was our Tangle in Tangletown.
Right.
And the story goes that the head of conservation for the Minnesota Historical Society had purchased the property at 1721 Princeton. And this is in the Miriam Park area, very historic, beautiful neighborhood. And a large double lot, and the buyer purchased it thinking she was going to be able to divide it, and she got approval before she closed from the city, and she was going to put up 2 homes. Well, the neighbors fought, and there was a stay put on it, so we've been monitoring the story. Well, now there was just an article that the contractor went in and disconnected the utilities, and 4 of the radiators burst, causing
That's
damage
horrible.
to the house. So, no word yet on if they can repair that or if this is going to lead to demolition. There was one other similar story that happened over in Edina, in the country club area. This is again a historic neighborhood. 550 homes are on the National Register of Historic Places. Homeowner wanted to do some major remodeling and agreed not to tear down the house. They would do the remodeling. The neighbors were all involved. Everybody was happy. And one day the neighbors showed up at home and the house was gone. And apparently the contractor went in with a structural engineer. They deemed the foundation unsafe, went into the city inspections department, and the inspector said, go ahead and tear it down without notifying any of the neighbors. So the house is gone, the neighbors are upset. The city, of course, is saying they could have handled it better. But, you know, it just,
Can't put it back now.
no.
It might be the makings for a reality TV show, you know, all this tear down drama.
Where'd that
seems to
house
be-
go?
I know,
It's-
it's amazing. And so last year they issued 101 permits in Edina for tear downs. This year they have already issued 68. And you know, I have a great vacant lot for sale in Edina on Dunn Craig Avenue, only $3.99. If you're thinking about putting up a house, no need to tear anything down. It's vacant
Already
and it's
done
available.
for you.
That's right. So they can get a hold of you on realtalktwincities.com, right, Cheryl?
That's right, or they can call us 612-735-0553. That's 612-735-0553.
That's right, and that resource is available to you always. realtalktwincities.com. All the vendors, we've had the attorney, the accountants, all those folks, you can reach out to them via our website, Real Talk Twin Cities. That's a resource. We're here for you every Sunday at 6 o'clock and soon to be Saturdays at 4. Is that right?
It's exciting.
That is exciting. We're going to be coming back with Sandy Schwartz, sashomestaging.com, talk a little bit more about the 3% down program. More news from the Fed when we come back on AM 1280 The Patriot.